morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folani. Hope we meet you well. Okay, we'll be looking this morning at our beloved Ogun State. Speaking for myself, you know, there are many other people who will say that, what do you mean? My beloved Osun State, my beloved Ekiti State, and all of that. But joke. It's all about development, isn't it? And well, Ogun State, Ogun State is 48. And at 48, the governor has addressed the world, but, primarily to the citizens of Ogun State, and to talk about developments so far and those ongoing and indeed projected into the future. Of course, I imagine that there are a lot of people, not the least of which will be Ogun indigenes and citizens who will be very interested. But Ogun is such a place, it's becoming as close as, one might think to a state with a status like Lagos, where all sorts of Nigerians, are making, also that place their home. Well, our guest this morning to talk very much about it, and I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Dapo Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun, as you know, Senior Special Advisor to the Senior Special Assistant, to the Ogun State Governor on public communications. Well, it's good that we have a man like Dapo with us because, as you know, he's a power box of information. We used to relate with him in terms of journalism, and I imagine that a lot of that will still be brought to the fore in your new assignment. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
It's been a while, but we haven't seen. Other programs have had the luck to have hosted you.
Yes. Good morning, sir, and thank you for bringing me in.
I'm delighted to have you, Dapo. Now, really, this is, well, we'll be interjecting with questions, but essentially, you have the floor to tell us what Ogun State has been able to achieve in its 48 years of existence as a state, and whether the present government is satisfied with that, and what the plans are going forward.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ogun State, been 48 this year. State was created in 1976 from the old Western State, and which used to have its capital based in Ibadan. So, and we've had Ogun since then. And talking about the journey so far, it's been a very long, tortuous journey to statehood. And looking at it from the prism of the current administration, the governor came in like every other concerned indigene of the state. He came in with the notion that we ought to have moved faster.
Okay.
And that is explaining all his actions.
Okay.
That explains all his actions. That mirrors his policies. That we can achieve more in spite of the difficulties, the challenges, the limitations. They are there. But the governor, understanding what needs to be done, has taken the state on a journey towards proper statehood in the last 5 years at a faster pace. And how do I mean? If we look at the issue of industrialization, one major thing about being a state in Nigeria is viability. There are many states, 36 states, but each time we talk about the viability of these states, the viability of a state is determined largely by its ability to survive, even if it happens that the federal allocations are delayed or non-existent. Can a state stand on its own?
How good is Ogun in that regard?
Well, I will respond by probably answering with what those who should know have been saying. Rating agencies, national and international, have been looking at states within Ogun State, within Nigeria. And in the last 1-2 years, the ratings for Ogun has been up there. Budget, we know budget. Respected rating organization says when it comes to the ease of doing business, Ogun is top. That is to tell you that it has become hugely investor friendly. other agencies recently, another agency, international agency, recently placed Ogun as the second most viable state in Nigeria, right behind Lagos. Right behind Lagos. The most, and in talking about viability, internally generated revenue,
Okay.
ease of doing business, provision of infrastructure, necessary amenities. These are the factors considered before arriving at that. Placing Ogun, that look, among viable states in Nigeria, Ogun is number 2. There are others.
Okay.
That places Ogun ahead states like Rivers and Kano and what have you.
Which is
which is a huge thing.
That is commendable and might be surprising to some.
Really surprising. Yes. Because we actually, but if you look at it where you know it won't be surprising. We're not talking about allocations. We're talking about being able to, beyond just the money you have, being able to stand on your own, being able to meet the necessities of statehood as at when due.
Now, in that regard, because you spoke about ease of doing business, trying to make the state as attractive as possible to investors to come in, there has been this perennial complaint of the state of roads in Ogun State. Yes, there are a lot of a lot of initiatives. For instance, I was reading something very recently about a plan to scrap ICE motorcycles, internal combustion engine motorcycles, and to replace that with electric. And that put up the observation/complaint of a lot that, but Oga in Ogun, where are the roads for this laudable idea? And business certainly wants communication by roads.
Thank you very much. I'm happy that you did say that there has been concern about state of roads in Ogun State. And that is, it didn't start now. It's been there. This administration, we had the first time, was about going to its 5th year. I tell you that if the complaints were let's say 100% before the coming of this administration, it has drastically reduced because less roads than it used to be now have those complaints. More roads have been fixed in the last 5.5 years than probably we've done in 20 years.
Are these is this fixing by way of quote unquote, as Ogun State government itself put out, by way of palliative?
No,
because they have used that expression, but that was in relation to the Lagos road.
Palliatives. You see, there are 2 ways of fixing them. 2 issues now. When I talk about fixed roads, reconstruction or new constructions.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
Then this issue of palliatives we keep doing. Ogun State keeps doing, or roads we are yet to fix. Check it. There is no road that has been left totally unattended to. But you will agree with me that given that money is what is needed to do these things, it's not just go there and say, let's start. We need resources.
Okay.
And these resources won't go around at the same time. Development will come to all these roads we talk about, but it won't come at the same time. Right. Now, a lot of roads are being fixed, reconstructed, newly constructed. But those we are yet to have the resources to plunge into headlong, palliatives are being done regularly. Of course, some of these roads are so in so desolate state that palliatives won't even show when you do. Because they've been left like that for decades. They've been left unattended to for multiple years by successive administration. So much so that what they need actually is total reconstruction.
Yeah.
But you'll agree with me, like I said earlier, we may not have that resources to do all the road needing attention at the same time. But what are we doing? Major roads are being addressed because problem. Some rural roads are receiving attention. We cannot pay attention to the metropole and abandon the rural roads. So we're trying to do it by pursuit. You look at some roads and you see efforts ongoing there, long roads, but so in some places, one part of the road is almost completed or completed, so that people can be applying that part of it while attention will shift to the other part,
Okay.
the other half of the road, the other side of the road. So why are we doing this? Because we feel we cannot just leave such roads and concentrate on the one where let them be using that half while we turn around and say, okay, that side is a bit motorable now. Let's do something else somewhere.
Sort of a judicious
use of
distribution
resources.
Of resources.
And you did mention Lagos.
Yeah, the easiest link.
Songo,
That's the easiest link between Lagos that we've spoken about and Ogun.
On that end.
On that end.
The other link here has been wonderfully taken care of by this administration.
Okay.
From interchange on Lagos Ibadan Expressway to Abeokuta to Shagamu.
Yes.
That road.
Arguably longer, but it does serve people in that axis more efficiently.
Quickly.
Yes.
But people in Agege, in Yanokmaja, and people who go into that area from other parts of the country. We agree with you perfectly. But we should remind ourselves that my principal, the governor, will say, yes, it is a federal road.
Okay.
For being plied by Ogun citizens and other people. So we cannot close our eyes to it. That's his perception. That's his idea about that road. You want to tell me, you want to remind him every time that it's a federal road. He will tell you yes. But how do we identify federal people in Ogun State and Ogun people? Is it possible for us to say, no, these are federal people, these are Ogun people? We will say, no, our people are using that road. We need to fix that road. And he came in with such concern for that road that from the day he became governor in 2019, he has been asking for federal government's permission to fix that road. He understands that the federal government may not be able to do it now. Maybe they have so many things on their hand. Give it to us. It's not as if we have the resources so much that we are looking for where to spend it. No, but he feels it is a major road that concerns everything we are doing.
Exactly, a sort of concessioning.
Let's have a concessioning. Concession it to us. Let's handle this road. He's been from 2019. He's been asking for that.
And why this is
that didn't come until late last year, October precisely.
And why this is necessary, it's not just about being polite and having good manners. It's also probably about, look, if you agree and do this, then when we work on it, we will be ultimately reimbursed.
One argument to it, yes. One possibility. Okay. But the major one for him is the road. Its impact on what we are doing in Ogun State. The many lofty ideas he has brought into governance. The infrastructural ideas he's toying with. The industrialization drive of this administration. And the desire to open Ogun up to the world.
Yeah.
That road will play a major part. So there is no issue or there is no hearsay about it other than let's get that road fixed. Now, the concessioning, permission, I'll put it this way now, didn't come until October. When we had what we refer to as a presidential nod or presidential approval, why not? Ogun can fix this road. That was celebrated far and wide because a lot of people are concerned about that road. So when they had that, the presidency says Ogun can fix it. It was taking the yes, in a matter of days or weeks.
People were so optimistic. But I think it has also been explained that the nod that you're speaking about, without prejudice to that nod, there still are processes. You talk about issues like there needs to be a federal executive council.
I will explain that.
And then an extract.
You see, that's one part of it that people may not be in tune with. Yes, we have an approval, so to say, from the presidency that through the Minister of Federal Minister of Works and Housing, that we will agree, we will allow Ogun State to fix this road. We'll concession this road to you. We have that understanding. But in matters like this, it's not child's play. It's not just that they've said it, we moved in. No. The Federal Executive Council, we are told, we'll discuss it. There will be an extract from that meeting, which now forms the formal approval that That state is off our hand. Ogun State is handling it. We are waiting for that.
Okay.
And we are not just waiting and saying they will bring it. We are working hard to get that.
Okay.
The state does the same way our governor, His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, worked hard for almost 5 years to get the presidency to give its nod. He is working so hard to get this formal approval through the extract.
Okay. So
A lot of discussions and MOUs are also ongoing with the Federal Ministry of Works, which is essential.
you said that it's not as if Ogun has too much money to throw around,
Yes.
but it's in consideration of the viability of this road, and also as it will help Nigerians.
Yes.
That's on the one hand. How is that, bearing in mind you've just said that it's not as if we have all that much money to pay. So how is it going to be financed?
As I speak with you, I can tell you that Ogun State is ready to mobilize to site for work to start on that road.
Really?
Yes. I can tell you Ogun State is ready to mobilize to site so that work
If
can
we were
start.
to get
The
all
moment
the
we
approvals.
get all the papers sorted, contractors have been
When you say
contractors have been
When you say
interviewed.
is ready, you're talking about from our own resources or private partner, private public
That's
partnership?
what I'm going into now.
Okay.
Contractors have been spoken into. A reputable one selected for the job as part of readiness. This is the company that will handle the contract. Terms and other things agreed upon. Then the state have at the same time reached out to private sector participants who are also ready. That this is the part we will play. This is the part we will play. This is how we will jointly fix this road. You understand? Now, part of what these private participants, as I want to put them, would require to give them confidence is that extract. That road is litigation free. It is not encumbered by any other thing. We have the consent of the federal government. Even if government change tomorrow, today, the federal government already consented to us putting our resources on that road. So that's how ready Ogun is.
Okay. Okay.
Just yesterday, the Commissioner of Works in the state was speaking about this road, and he made it clear that if we have all these paper issues sorted today, we'll move to site.
How is the state of? I'm doing a bit of crisscrossing now, say in terms of subject matter. How good is Ogun State for power? Because industrialization, businesses, and all of that. How good is Ogun State for power? Of course, every Nigerian has an idea of the answer to that, but are there other things?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you that we all know that power lies. Power as in power, light now lies with the federal government.
Yes.
But now, in his understanding of what needs to be done, the governor is working hard to see how we can find alternatives to some of these issues.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Late last year, we entered into an understanding with a company, a private organization that can provide power. Provide electricity to power a large chunk of a major axis of the state, the Agbara axis, where you have a lot of companies.
Is this via the grid, or are we talking about solar farms or any other kind of idea?
The company provides carries out these activities with a mix of all this.
Okay.
That will be the one on the grid, where it is necessary for solar to be injected into it. They have the capacity. And we are monitoring what they are doing in that axis now. It is not just Ogun State that is talking to the same company. Lagos too. Because Lagos also have some interest in that axis. So that's some of the ideas the governor has brought into it. Talking about using solar as an alternative. One good thing about this administration is its desire for excellence, perfection, when it comes to public infrastructures. When our governor do roads, he ensures there are street lights. However, you go to many of these light ups, and you discover that it's been vandalized. The government will go back there again, after a while, vandalized. The issue of trying to secure them comes up, bring more security, do this. Even generators places some places to pass on this are stolen.
I mean,
we've had issues of transformer taken away. How can somebody go and take transformer?
Which we thank you very much for saying this, because this leads us on to what I was going to come on to next.
I was going to talk about solar there. That's why I started.
Okay, start about solar, but please go on to security, because businesses do need security. And if we're even managing to put palliatives, generators, and these are being stolen, transformers are being vandalized, this is being stolen. I'm going to lead on, and I won't want to interrupt you, just move into it seamlessly. What are we doing? What is your assessment of the state of security in Ogun State?
Thank you. Let me conclude on what I was
from solar.
So, with that problem with vandalism, vandals, as we know, are criminals. There is no coloration to it. Whether they are locals or foreigners, they are criminals. The government under the leadership of His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, is currently carrying out a pilot scheme of the solar solar-powered streetlights in Ogun State.
Okay.
The idea is turn our streetlights to solar power.
Okay, we don't have that yet in Ogun State.
No.
Okay.
They're just introducing that now. And the pilot scheme is on, and people are seeing the effect of that. Once he is satisfied, I'm sure the governor would direct that this should be introduced on our roads. So that is a way of tackling vandalism. And then that will take me to what you introduced, security. Even those who should know, security experts, analysts, local and international, who have been monitoring the state of insecurity in Nigeria as a country, have given Ogun a lot of nods and kudos.
Nods in terms of security,
especially in the area of swift response.
Okay.
So, insecurity. And that's what you can rate with. To say there will not be incidents of insecurity, we'll be deceiving ourselves. What's the population of our police to the citizens? I mean, what's the ratio? So, criminals are living among us. They will want to do their own business. It is left for us to ensure they don't have leeways. That is the approach of Prince Dapo Abiodun.
Okay.
So security issues in Ogun State. Much as we try to eradicate insecurity totally, our proximity to states, not just Lagos. People look at Lagos. We are just next door to Oyo. And we are even next door to another country, Benin Republic, in some parts of the state. This exposes us to something. When criminals in those areas are fleeing from the long arms of the law, Ogun State is one place they can try to seek refuge. So, as far as security is concerned, we have to be on our toes 24 hours a day.
Are we? How will?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. That in the area of responding to insecurity, Ogun is doing very well. We have a security architecture that is very good. We have the police, the army, and other security agencies work hand in hand. And that's why when things happen in Ogun State, the rate at which they are quickly arrested, criminals are quickly apprehended, is very high. Now, if you look at the issue of cultism, at the time, in the news was Shagam. Now, you will agree with me, relative peace, because of what the governor ensured was done. When it happened, he made it clear, look, nobody should be spared. Go after the perpetrators. And at the end of the day, people, high and mighty, big names, brought into the net. And he made sure, prosecute them, question them. And as that was going on, more and more people. So we were able to go for the kingpins. And that's...
Would you go as far as saying that there's been a reduction in the perceived criminality rate or incidence in Ogun State?
Yes. If you compare it to years before now. When the governor came in, it was one issue he had to confront headlong. But then it was an everyday thing. We are all aware, 2016, 2017, major part of 2018. It was every day. Once you are talking about cultism and killings in Shagamu, it will erupt in Abeokuta. Ijebu-Ode was in the news for the same thing. Banks had to shut down. We are living witnesses to these things.
But the situation is improving.
Nowhere in Ogun that you find that banks are not working.
And you spoke about formal security services. I was going to ask about the Amotekun,
We have, even beyond Amotekun in Ogun State, okay. We have Amotekun operating in Ogun State. We have SoSafe, another security arrangement. Then we have the local hunters and these forming themselves into groups, being monitored by the police, having the support where necessary of government and all that. Recently, there were incidents in a part of the state and took the combination of the hunters, SoSafe, Amotekun, and police to comb the bush for days. They refused to leave. While the police knew what to do, the local hunters understand the terrain.
Yeah.
And they were in there combing that axis until the perpetrators were brought out. Because they won't go, those ones could not flee. At the end of the day, they were apprehended.
They see that they can't be comfortable.
Ogun State has succeeded under His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun to make our state comfortable for criminals. This is because for all the drives the government has been engaging in, security is key.
And this is important because on the Ogun State, Ogun State is a state in the southwest. But I mentioned at the very top that Ogun State has witnessed itself being, the sort of apple of the eye of a lot of investors. And so you find that the population mix is sort of changing. And, drastically. So it's not exclusively, of a certain indigenous stock anymore. People are moving into Ogun State.
Let me tell you something. Ogun State is fast taking the shades and colors of Lagos.
Indeed.
When it comes to the issue of integration.
Integration.
It is. Recently, when I went to Abeokuta to join this administration, I was amazed at amazed by what I saw.
Yeah.
It has afforded me the opportunity to move to some parts of Ogun. I go to places as far as Imeko, Ayetoro, and the nationals that you find residing and doing businesses in these places will amaze you.
It is. If you're coming from Lagos, you wonder, I thought I left Lagos.
People are now of the opinion they leave their states.
Yeah. They
want to go to Lagos for greener pasture. They get to some part of and they look at the place and say, this place is also habitable.
Exactly.
They find companies that can take them on.
Yeah.
And you talk about investors finding Ogun quite habitable. It didn't just happen overnight.
Indeed.
If you look at land ownership in Ogun today, made so easy by this administration.
And that has attracted
the issue of taxation. You cannot be in Ogun. Ogun State is one place where we keep talking about we have grown our IGR. And you cannot find complaints of double taxation, multi-taxation, overtaxing. No, we are in the media. If it's happening, you will have that.
Yes, that's right.
You don't find. We find situations like that in other places. Because we want to increase your IGR, do you want to kill us? We don't have some situation. You know why? Because we have a man who understands what is to be done in this at the SADU.
Okay, we're looking at infrastructural development in focus in Ogun State at 48. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back. Dare Odufokon, Senior Special Assistant to the Ogun State Governor on Public Communications, is my guest, and you'll be able to ask questions as well. Call in and ask questions as we continue with this conversation. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. Dari Odufogo, still my guest, is explaining to us, perceptions on Ogun at 48, the situation now. It's been a long road coming from when the state was created in 1976. And here we are today, advances, areas of challenges, and indeed clear-cut successes. Okay, I wanted us to return to the matter of ease of doing business friendliness of the place, and we want more people to come into Ogun State. So what exactly, in case anybody is watching this from abroad, what exactly has the Dapo Abiodun administration put on ground, been able to do that will enhance the ease of business and attract people to go in there, that I actually want to invest and I'm looking for a place to invest? Why would he choose Ogun State?
Thank you very much. Chief, among the things this administration have done in that area is the issue of land ownership.
Okay.
Every business needs land. Location is key to business. Yeah. And then we all understand how frustrating it can be if the process of acquiring land when you want to start your business troubles you. So that's something the government has taken care of. The process of becoming landowners in Ogun State has been simplified. All those multiple processes has been removed. It's a straightforward process that takes you to...
And transparent.
Very transparent. Most of the things you do online yourself. So your contact with people you think would want to trouble you is reduced. And it takes you straight to obtaining your certificate of occupation.
Mm-hmm.
And when business owners and entrepreneurs may cross the hurdle of land ownership, it makes every other thing easy for them. Other things are the rate at which this government is committed to infrastructural development.
Okay, that's quite important. Well, we've touched on that.
We've touched on that,
in the first half of the program. Infrastructural development.
Talking with people who can make the issue of electricity easier. Efforts are being made to ensure that the road networks are such that helps your business. The idea of our taxes are such that they are flexible and friendly.
Water?
The issue of water. Abeokuta Metropoli, for example, over the years, for decades, I schooled there. Some parts of Remo land, I lived there. Ijebode, that's where my father is from. I'm from age long. The issue of water scarcity has been there. However, it is because what has been done in the past, all this year, is what you call palliatives to solve this problem. This administration is currently has been confronting the issue of water scarcity in these identified areas in a manner that permanent solutions seems to have come.
Okay.
For example, when you talk about key areas in Abeokuta that have been suffering water, now people are calling into the radio programs and television to say, thank you, Governor Dapo Abiodun, for addressing an issue of water shortage.
Okay, so, I'm going to come back to that because I don't want to keep Mr. Bankole, who called in from Badagry, waiting. Good morning, Bankole and Badagry.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes, sir. I want to ask the gentleman on the studio some questions.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Now, yes, the question I want to ask is this: why has the entirety of Yewa, so the entirety of Yewa, why is it exempted from the development plan of Ogun State?
Okay, that's short and sharp and sweet. Let me give it to him. He is saying that Yewa is being discriminated against.
We are all humans. And if you look at some theories that explain that no matter how selfless we try to be, when issues comes to sharing of things, we want more to our side. So I appreciate my brother who called in from Badagry. I'm sure he's from Yewa, part of Ogun State. I don't agree that it's discrimination. This administration does not discriminate. One thing this government is taking very importantly is even distribution of development across all parts of Ogun State. Recently, the state government launched a program, 100 roads, the 100 roads project. This 100 road project is divided equally across the 20 local governments of our state. It's not even an issue of senatorial district, the 20 local governments.
But if you say equally, you emphasize that word. Bankole, who called in from Badagry, yep. But I've heard in casual conversation, the Yewa people do feel like that. Is it, can you profess any kind of an understanding as to why they may feel like that? Has it been, quote unquote, historical that is now being addressed? But I know quite a number of Yewa people who feel that way.
Okay, well.
Providing evidence is another thing. But
you just got there.
Yes.
And I may not be in a situation to provide evidence for that. But what I know, that this issue is age-long, the way you paint it. It's been like that. This administration has only been in office for 6 years.
Okay.
I mean, 5 years. Almost 5 years. That's 5.5 years. So it couldn't have been the making of this organization if it is so. Exactly. Assuming without considering that this issue is so,
could have been
it
so.
could not have been
Not on the watch of Dapo Abiodun.
You concerning the watch of Prince Dapo Abiodun.
Okay. One more question from, and it's going to come from Mr. George in Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Yuri.
Yeah.
And good morning to Mr. Odufo.
Good morning,
Mr. Odufo, I used to enjoy your articles in the Nation newspaper.
Thank you, sir.
And I've been missing it since you left. I want to bring to your attention you are talking about infrastructure development in Ogun State.
Yes,
it's good that someone like you is now talking for the state.
Yes, sir.
Please, Akute and Ajuwon area, they are regarded as Ogun State. I used to live in that area before. I ran away from there because of bad roads. The roads in that area are like the roads in hell. And I'm talking about 15 years ago. If you still go there today, the situation is the same. During Ibikule Amosun's first term, he started to build the Alagbole Bridge. And he didn't take it beyond the foundation level. As we speak, the bridge is still like that. What I wanted to find out from you, is it possible for Ogun State government to cede these areas to Lagos State? Because most of the residents in these areas, Lambe, Ajuwon, Akute, and all that, they work in Lagos. But Lagos cannot develop that area because it is called Ogun State. They are at a dilemma. Please, and the Ogun State government, can you either pay attention to these areas or cede the areas to Lagos? This is the question I want you to take to Governor Abiodun. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. George.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will take your question to the appropriate court. But let me also tell you that this administration, he said in the last 15, 20 years,
yes,
leave the place. Age-long issues. These problems that have accumulated over 20, 30 years cannot be solved just in a day. And that's why I know very well that the Lambe Akute Ojodu Road is to receive attention. Same for Akute Denro Isashi Road. These are parts of major concerns of this administration. Major concerns.
And they are often thought to be Lagos State.
Yeah, it's Ogun State.
But it actually is Ogun State.
It's Ogun
and
State,
that's the point that George was making.
The state government is highly responsible for that area. There have been palliative efforts in that area too. There are major issues, serious desolation. It is not something you will say, okay, let's just manage and do it. No. You have to be determined to fix those roads. And that is the governor's perception to it that let's plan to do something concrete, something
half measures will not suffice.
Will not solve the problem. And that's why when people say, let them just do something, it won't solve the problem. And these roads we talk about, you see, this is Ogun Central. Ogun Central. The last caller said Ogun West. If you ask these people, he didn't just finish it. He almost have, in fact, he finished it by saying, can you see the road? That's to say they don't see, they also feel the same way. That's why what I was trying to explain, that it's not a matter of marginalization. It is an issue that has to do with this our own administration. It has to do with scarce resources. Having identified everything needing attention, do we have the resources to do it once? The answer is no. Are we willing, as in the governor, is he willing to do all the roads? Yes. Can he do it at the same time? No.
Not necessarily.
Then what's the solution? We'll take it one after the other.
Also, I suppose an information drive.
And everybody, when you say you take it one after the other, everybody wants to take his own first.
And so
that's why when they talk like this, I understand how they feel. I keep saying it is within their legitimate right to talk in this manner.
So people must be carried along as to what is going on.
And that's it.
So that the gentleman, I think that was Bankole Mbadagri, who said that, why are you discriminating against the people of Yewa in terms of development? They will understand because there is full information. And by the way...
Aton, Lusada, Agbara, Marubo road that is currently receiving attention from the government is in Ogun West. A major road.
Okay.
The Agbara axis, where the governor is concerned and is working hard to ensure there is alternative electrification and power supply, is in Ogun West. We have major projects going on in Elaro, is in Ogun West. But my brother lives in Badagry, and if he is not from all these places I mentioned in Ogun West, even if it is only his own village that is yet to receive attention, then the whole of Ogun West is marginalized. And we can understand.
Someone else
but we will only plead that development will come, but it may not come at the same time.
The government is not sitting on its hands.
They're not sitting, not resting.
Samuel, again from Badagry, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. In response to what the gentleman is saying there, it's not about me personally benefiting from what the government is doing.
Okay,
it's what has been on for time immemorial.
Yes.
That the entirety of Yewa is exempted. So all these things we are talking about, it needs to be visible. You need to visit that place by yourself. You just visit and see what you are talking about. We need to please include us in the map of development of Ogun State. We are not exempted. We should not be exempted from it. It is not a matter of being beneficial for it. All of us cannot be a politician. It is not to be a politician before we can begin to enjoy the dividend of democracy. Please include the Yewa people too in the development plan of Ogun State. Please.
All right.
Please.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. He's keying Bankole,
but it's true. If there is that perception of that over the years, both of them spoke about decades. If there is such perception, we will have to, and that's why my principal, Prince Dapo Abiodun, is insisting on what he describes as equal distribution of infrastructural development, equal distribution of our industrial drive. In the area of employment, ensure that it is spreading. Give every part of the state senses of belonging. He is keen, he is determined. If you look at his administration, the cabinet, other heads, and what well spread.
Even spread.
Well spread.
Let's talk about education, because as you know, Ogun State, Abeokuta, but not exclusively Abeokuta, they're very, very key on education. So the citizens of Ogun State. Tell me, you started off with a plus on that. If you ask most people, they'll say, Ogun State, like some other states, education is their stock in trade. What can you say? What has this government and the governor done to maintain that and then further it?
There's no administration. I can say that I'm from Ogun State. Lived in Ogun State.
Before you launch, let me include Dare, but coming from Abeokuta. Dare in Abeokuta, good morning. Good morning, Dare in Abeokuta.
Yeah, this morning. Am I on to this morning, please?
Yes, you are.
I would like to ask our guest there.
Your namesake, Mr. Dare Odufo Okan.
Okay, so the question is, the state government started from estate in Abeokuta.
Yes.
He did some estate in Kopape,
Yes.
Abeokuta. The phase 2 is yet to be completed.
Yes.
A lot of civil servants subscribe to this estate.
Yes.
Even the one in Kopape, phase 3 is yet to be completed, uncompleted.
Yeah.
It has overgrown with weeds now.
Yeah.
A lot of civil servants that took that estate are still paying rent, paying mortgage, and that place is there, grown up with weeds. What they ought to have been able to achieve with that estate, that they ought to have done buy some materials at a cheaper rate. Now everything has overgrown. They have not gotten their allocation. And now you are here, you are saying all these are age-long situations, but this one is a recent situation started by him and still no allocation.
Okay, let's give Mr. Odufokon a chance to respond to that. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you very much.
That was Dari.
My namesake.
Yes.
He helped a lot with the question, even by declaring that none of this project he spoke about is in the first phase. He talked about second and third phases. Then these are projects that were started maybe 4 years ago. We all know what's been happening when it comes to the issue of inflation and all that in the country. Subscriptions have already been done, and the houses have to be delivered. It's an ongoing project. Just recently, in fact, taken care of by and provided for even in the 2024 budget. This project is talking about not less than about 100 units of housing, and they are marked to be completed at the PMB estate, that is the President Muhammad Buhari estate. And then about 235 units. Work have started on that at Kobakpe, where I mentioned. So I will plead with him.
Okay.
A little more patience. Just the same way the earlier phases were completed successfully, the others will be.
Okay, he's talking about the pace. He thinks that, but then
We are not talking about 50 units, 20 units of housing. He didn't speak about that. These are massive number of housing units.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
for PMB, 100 units is the next phase. For Kobakpe, 235 units. And these are this won't be the last. After that, there will be phases. So you'll understand where you are going to construct such large number.
Indeed.
The idea,
And then the inflation that has hit town,
Into-
materials,
you
and
can't
all
call
of
the
that.
subscribers back and
No,
start.
exactly. So that's a
And
problem.
this inflation was not foreseen. But the administration is committed, bringing in resources to say, look, it is for our workers. It is for our people. We must forge ahead with it.
You were going to talk about education, and
Yes,
and
before
then he
my
came in.
namesake called
Yeah, he
in.
called in, and even now, Mr. Wolabi in Agege has called in. Go ahead, Mr. Wolabi.
Hello, I want to talk to your guest. Yeah.
You know what he
I
said?
want to ask about Imala town.
Yeah.
The road where Awolowo drew for us. The Awolowo right there. People, the man where are talking there now, you don't know where they call Imala. And all they are giving them their post. Every 4 years.
How did you arrive at that conclusion, Mr. Wolabi?
Imala,
How can you say he doesn't know what you are talking about?
Hello, sir.
Ask him.
I will answer you. I've been to Imala not less than 6 times. My Egbon, the Malian boy himself, Egbon Adebayo, there is nothing he's doing. He's listening to us, I'm sure. There is nothing he's doing in Imala that I don't follow him to go and celebrate. Even when he started the Imala Day celebration, I was there. So you goofed there, but I will answer you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Wolabi, let him respond to one of the things you said.
So well, he spoke about road. It's what we've been talking about.
Indeed.
They had a road now in bad state. He feels that the government ought to have done it immediately. Then we've spoken here about people who never had roads and feels why haven't. So you begin to wonder that, like my principal would say, he would say, I wish he can just conjure so much resources, so much money, and he will just decide that every road.
Yeah.
Yes, we see. Starting today, we set a target of 3 months. But it's not possible.
Well, it apparently isn't, and it's a challenging task. But nevertheless, you've been explaining to us how Prince Dapo Abiodun is totally committed to it. Now, I'm going to hold the cause for a moment because I do want to hear from Dare on education in Ogun State.
I really want to speak about education.
Sure.
Sincerely, because I doubt if I was explaining to you that apart from growing up in Ogun State, I schooled in Ogun State extensively, and now I'm working in Ogun State. I've been part of the administration. I don't think there is any administration that have done much in education as much as this current one. Let's look at the area of teachers' employment. It's been massive. Not less than about 5,000 teachers have been employed in the space of 3 years by this administration.
Okay.
Through our Ogun Teach interns.
Is that for primary or secondary?
Across board.
Across board.
We have what we call the Ogun Teach interns, which also help the administration to solve the issue of unemployment in a way. What do we do? Young graduates and others come in and be our interns. At the first instance, 2,000 was taken. The second one, another 2,000 taken in as interns. And what do interns do? Interns, you teach. They collect money. They are paid. It's just that they are not immediately civil servants.
Okay.
So last year, 3,000 of these interns were employed as full-time civil servants by the administration. 3,000.
Well, this implies that there are schools being standard schools. They exist. Maybe they're being built. Maybe they're being refurbished. Talk briefly about that.
Yes, a lot of it. And that's why you go to Ogun State, people will say what they enjoy most now are the yellow schools. What do you mean by yellow schools? The roofs actually are yellow. And they are everywhere. Mm-hmm. It is not about metropolis alone. Even in villages, in the grassroots, we are the issue of school and standard buildings. And then we have this massive drive for employing teachers, making sure that you don't just build schools, you put the necessary human resources there. And so making 3,000 of them full civil servants as teachers, then we employ another 2,000. And then currently, the Ogun Teach intern recruitment is on. So in the area of it, then you look at our universities, relative peace. Even when ASU was on strike nationwide, our universities were not on strike because their argument was simply they don't have any reason to go on strike. Mm-hmm. Then the issue of Ogun State Polytechnic, Polytechnic, that raged all through the last administration. We moved it somewhere, it is no longer operating, we shut it down. We could not resolve it so amicably that the school now have students again.
Okay.
They are running sessions.
We've completely run out of time now, Dare. And it just looks like we started this thing only 15 minutes ago.
I still have plenty.
I can imagine there's so very much. And that's why I feel sort of sure that when we sort of invite you to come again, because there's so much more that needs to be said. And especially we have to be realistic about this thing and pragmatic. You have explained that there are challenges, but they are being confronted head on.
Sir, I didn't have the opportunity to talk about our cargo international airport.
The
project the whole world is applauding us off. I'm sure when next you call me,
we'll talk about that.
The first commercial flight already landed there. So to those who say it's a white elephant project, when Dapo Abiodun started that project, now they know I was on the flight. Okay. So it's historical. I'll tell my children and grandchildren.
That's exciting. I can't wait for you to come back. Yes. Then we'll delve into it from those angles. Thank you very much, Dare, for dropping by the studio to tell us about this. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there for now. That's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.
Harpic sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.